it's a wonderful Jukai on Sunday, Bodhisattva vow taking. And I told people in the room, but I'll tell you guys too, because I forgot to say it during the Jukai, is that each of the 4 people taking vows have the word path in their name. I try to put a name in common when people do it together. And on each of your rakosus in different ways, it says the Buddha way, which is the translation of the path. So the Buddha way is it's the path under your feet, just one step at a time. That's it. Tomorrow is Dharma Heart Zen is one of the sponsoring interfaith organizations. For those who choose, we're fasting either food or technology or whatever rises for you from 7 to 7, just a way to interrupt the routine and to remember with your body and our habit patterns what's important. And from 5 to 7 for local people, we will be meeting if you'd like to, and I'd love it if you could come at Courthouse Square. And I'm pretty sure there's people coming from Stone Creek, and I know the Occidental Laguna Sangha and the Methodist Church and their Shalom Synagogue and the Unitarian churches. And I mean, I just think this is fun. This is in the midst of terrible. I'm so happy we're doing this, and we'll sit. So bring a cushion or a chair. Probably a chair is wiser. And if you've been fasting, there's no markets, so bring something to share. Someone's bringing dates as the first way to break fast. And yeah, well, that's why we're doing it. Yeah. It's the tradition in the Arab countries. And then starting Thursday and next Tuesday and next Thursday are those who have served as Shusos in the past. Marilyn, Gretchen, and Constance will each take one of those days to present a koan out of Zen Echoes. So please come and support them. It'll be fun, and they've each chosen what their heart most wants to speak to. And I think the last one, there's no precept class next week, but we will continue in August. And August 12th, we will do a public lay entrustment ceremony for Chelsea, who's going to receive lay entrustment. And the Friday and Saturday before that, we'll be doing a private ceremony. Erica Wild, who we did lay entrustment with a couple of years ago, is flying in from Colorado, and we'll be together at my house, and we'll do ritual and a midnight ritual like we did with the Dharma entrustment. And then on August 12th, there will be a public ceremony where people ask questions of Chelsea. So Chelsea will be in the hot Buddha seat. I think that's all my announcements. So what I want to do today, and we'll because this all fits in really nicely, and we'll see how much of this I can get through, is I was really delighted because it's not usually in koan collections. Layman Pang and the Pang family are not usually what we find in the Blue Cliff Records, the Book of Serenity. I don't think in the Mumon Khan, but there's one here. So I'm going to go on a little bit about Layman. Well, it's Layman Pang, but actually it's the Pang family. That's what's so wonderful. It's Layman Pang, his wife, and his daughter Ling Shao are all amazing teachers and lay people. And I have sayings of Layman Pang, a Zen classic of China, translated by Charles Green, which I think we've talked about. I'm pretty sure we've talked about the Pang family, but it would be fun to just do some of these koans sometimes because they're totally delightful. So I think what I want to start with is we did Vimalakirti Sutra. Vimalakirti was a lay person, very famous for being a lay person. And the Pang family are really famous for being lay people in a monastic tradition. So I'll just quickly tell the story again, which some of you have probably heard a lot, but maybe nobody has, is I never wanted to be ordained. I always wanted lay entrustment as a mark of that I was a long-term practitioner, because priests always felt extra to me. And I came from a time at Zen Center when it was kind of extra, actually. But Norman Fisher, when I went to him with that, when he started Everyday Zen, which was about people practicing at home and being lay people, kind of tricked me and said, well, it's lay ordination. There aren't any monastics anymore, really. So everybody, whether you're a priest or not, is your lay ordained. It's just one form of it. And that just sounded great to me. And I do think a priest is a kind of calling that some people just have. It feels karmic to me. And for other people, it's just not, it's not interesting. And I'm really glad at this point that I'm ordained because I get to do all these things I wouldn't otherwise get to do. But I thought I would start with the foreword in this little book is written by Dennis Genpo Merzel Roshi, who is in another lineage, but a longtime practitioner, and he talks about this. And so I want to read you little parts of it before we get to the koans. Layman Pang, and I add in his family, continues to be an inspiration and a model within the Zen tradition 1,200 years after his death, their death, not only because of this colorful book you hold in your hands, but also because of what they represent. As a layperson, and I'm going to keep including the whole family, who is regarded as both a living exemplar and a teacher of Zen, he, they, are one of a line of outstanding human beings, men and women renowned and obscure, stretching from the great contemporary of Shakyamuni Buddha, Vimalakirti, through Huineng and the pivotal sixth patriarch of Zen in China to those who are reinvigorating Buddhism throughout the East and West in our own time. The very name by which we know Layman Pang raises questions that are at least as old as Buddhism itself. What does it mean to be a layperson in Zen? What is the difference between a person who is ordained and one who is not? Now, just Sunday, we did Jukai, which is a lay ordination, which is different than a priest or one is what we did was Zaike Tokudo. Priest ordination is Shuke Tokudo, but he's going to speak to that here. The ceremony of priest ordination marks the passage from layperson to what we call a monk or a nun or a priest. And it means, Shuke means leaving home. Zaike means staying at home and practicing the way. Shuke Tokido means leaving home and practicing the way. So now obviously priests all of us might go to Tassajara and practice, but we're all just practicing at home. So there's some kind of, with lay and then lay entrustment after a long time of practicing as a lay person, it may be appropriate to do green entrustment. Your focus is on your family. Your focus is on bringing forward your practice or embodying your practice in your work life. But obviously priests are doing the same thing, but there's also this kind of vocation that when you're a priest, it's clear that, and it was clear when we do Dharma transmission, that your vocation is to be a priest in this lineage and to carry the lineage. The freedom of being a lay entrusted person is you don't have that responsibility. You get to play more in the world. See what he says. In the West, not too many of us so-called monks or priests actually live in monasteries, same thing. Most of us trained in Zen centers as residents and had children, families, and in some cases, a job outside the centers. Most Zen teachers in the West, I wouldn't say all of us, trained and practiced even as we were ordained while raising families. That's why way back a long time ago, Shunryu Suzuki Roshi of our lineage, one of the early Japanese pioneers who brought Zen to America, said, there's a lecture you can find where Suzuki Roshi said this, "We are neither priests nor are we lay people exactly." And he also said that what you're doing in America is you're going to find a whole new way that nobody knows what it is yet, because nobody's ever done this. You know, it's like the Japanese were shocked at Zen Center that there were men and women practicing together, because traditionally you separate the sexes and the genders, and they still can't quite figure it out. And actually, neither can we, because nobody knows what to do with, well, Chelsea and Shelley and others in the Sangha are helping us. What do you do with these kids when you're supposed to show up in the Zendo every morning? And who's, anyway, this is a whole conversation. We could go on for some time, but I'm giving you a taste. He says, Merkel Roshi, for the last 15 years or so, I've realized the importance of having not only an ordained lineage, but also a lay lineage and lay people and lay practice. And that if we're going to make any difference in the world, it's going to be as lay people. And personally, even though I've been ordained for many years, I feel more like a lay person. I live a lay life. I've had children. I have a mortgage. I have a job, many jobs. And I think that people like Layman Pang and Vimalakirti and the Pang family are wonderful examples of living as householders and having a practice too. Pang family, Layman Pang, seems to have spent some time in monasteries, well, actually just Layman Pang, practicing in monasteries, studying under great teachers. He really sought out the great teachers of his time. And in the conversations with his ordained friends that are recorded in this little book, even when the subject of ordination is discussed, he treats the matter lightly and never gives explicit reasons for his choice to remain a lay person. It just, for him, just didn't, we'll never know, but I'm sure glad he became what he became, and his family practiced right next to him. From the little we know about his life, it seems fair to say that he found, as we do today, that there are many obstacles in the world that make it difficult to pursue a path. But just because it's difficult doesn't make it impossible. And actually, all the difficulties just become grist for the mill. We know this, right? This is continuous practice. Living a normal lay life while being a practitioner is a beautiful way to practice. This sounds just like we all go, yeah, but this was not said so clearly for a long time, because again, in a monastic tradition, the lay people, and still are in Theravadan countries, the lay people practice in support of the monastics. You get into Tashita heaven or wherever you think you're going to go because of all the nice things you did for the lay people. I mean, for the ordained people. So this, to be able to say that no matter what you're doing, that's completely the path and the Buddha way. This is, I think this is cool. And then he says, even though I have given the Buddhist precepts to several hundred people and Shuke Tokudo, priest ordination, to over 100, that's a lot of ordinations, my primary goal is not to create Buddhists. Rather, I believe that we honor and sustain the legacy of our great forebearers, lay and ordained alike, by spreading the essence of the Buddha Dharma to the world, even outside Buddhism. Layman Pang's example, reflected in these stories and here, inspires all of us in helping people to wake up and raise their level of consciousness, and in becoming better and more decent human beings. Becoming better and more decent human beings. That's what we're doing. Who live and act with wisdom and compassion rather than out of ignorance and greed and hatred. It's a nice little introduction that seems to me takes us nicely into. So now I'm going to go to the hidden lamp. And I'm sure that we have studied this koan other times, but I don't care. Because the wonderful thing about these is you just keep going back to them over and over. And each time they just kind of wake you up and tickle your heart and your funny bone. And so I'm going to bring forward Ling Xiao, who was Layman Pang's daughter. Well, she was her own person, but that's how we know her, is in relationship with him. And then in Zen Echoes, we'll have a little bit of time because they brought forward a koan particularly about Layman Pang. Ling Xiao's helping, China, 8th century. One day, Layman Pang and his daughter Ling Xiao were out selling bamboo baskets. That's what they did. That was like their complete devotion, was to making and selling bamboo baskets. Coming down off a bridge, the layman stumbled and fell. When Ling Xiao saw this, she ran to her father's side and threw herself to the ground. "What are you doing?" cried the layman. "I saw you fall, so I'm helping," replied Ling Xiao. "Luckily, no one was looking," remarked the layman. So the person giving the reflection in this is Joan Sutherland, who we've gotten to know through the Vimalakirti Sutra, and because koans are her tradition, I'm going to read you a little bit of what she says here. Layman Pang renounced his wealth to live simply. I forgot that part. I think there's something like he went out in a boat one day with all of his possessions and threw it over the side of the boat. I mean, he must have been a very interesting. The Chinese must have been fascinated by who is this person. He renounced his wealth to live simply, befriending some of the greatest Chan teachers of his day. Mrs. Pang seemed to have been simultaneously no nonsense and profoundly connected to the mysterious. About their son, they did have a son, we know little except that he worked in the fields, growing the family's food. For many, the most luminous member of the family is the daughter, Ling Xiao, whose name means spirit shining. Ling Xiao and her father were inseparable, supporting the family by making and selling bamboo utensils, and later she accompanied him on pilgrimages. And once when the layman tripped, Ling Xiao threw herself to the ground next to him. She explained herself with the immortal words, "I saw you falling, so I'm helping." Maybe we'll have time to talk and I'll ask you what that might mean for you. Ling Xiao's action obliterates the idea that there is a helper and a helped. Compassion isn't a commodity we deliver, but a commitment, according to Chan Zen, to help liberate the intimacy already inherent in any situation. What is most intimate, the koan suggests that we ask? Usually the most intimate response to another's difficulty begins with the willingness not to flee. I'm right here with you, exactly where you are. Fleeing can take the form of abandoning the situation, and it can also mean escaping into helping. Ooh, let me jump out of myself and into your problem to help fix you. Because you're making me really uncomfortable. And if I can make you feel better, then I'll feel a lot better. Which means escaping into a whole constellation of ideas about what ought to happen. Intimacy is being willing to stay and accompany and listen, to be vulnerable and surprised and flexible. It's a willingness to fall with someone and see what becomes possible when we do. Layman Pang's final remark, does not mean that he's worried about some third person judging the event, where he says, I hope no one saw it. He said exactly that. Luckily, no one was looking. Remember that last line? The third person judging the event is usually us looking at ourselves. Somebody's watching all of this. The helper is watching the helped, and are we getting it? And do you like me? And do you appreciate me? And did I get it right? And I mean, we all know this, right? I mean, the more we confess that we know the one in us who tracks these. And then if the person wasn't grateful enough, then we think they're not grateful. I mean, it's funny, and we all do it in small ways and little ways. And sometimes it's completely pure. Our inner tendency to monitor and pass judgment, distancing us from our interactions, even as they're happening. How free it is when we aren't keeping score. How potentially generous a life lived with no one looking. And at another level, Ling Xiao's gestures suggest we are all falling together, lifetime after lifetime through the universe. Right now, we are falling through this world, which holds out an invitation to us. Come see what life is like here. I have that feeling about tomorrow and going and sitting in Courthouse Square is, oh, we'll just fall down on the ground and sit there in the midst of Courthouse Square on a Wednesday afternoon with cars going by and people having no idea what this strange thing is, and just seeing what happens, because there's a vulnerability to doing that. You're exposed. Way better than sitting at home just being mad. That's my commentary. When Ling Xiao throws herself down, her kindness is clear and unhesitating, completely without self-concern. And it's also funny. Those are the qualities of her enlightenment. I love it that she's funny. This is what it looks like when all the energy bound up in the small story we're constantly telling ourselves, all of our reactions and opinions and judgment has been liberated into awakening. It's a free place, and Ling Xiao lived there to the end. Nice, huh? Just throw yourself down on the ground. Throw yourself down on the ground next to yourself. It's like when you're up in your head and you think you don't know what's going on, or you're running around in circles or whatever, it's just throw your body down on the ground. Just get down there with yourself. It's like, what's it look like from down here? That poor person who's just me, twisting and turning in the wind in all of my opinions and likes and dislikes. Just throw your body on the ground. Okay, so we have a little bit of time. We'll still have time to go in a group, so I'm going to present the one. Case 18, Layman Pang's awakening. This is his awakening story. What I want to point out is the physicality of this again. These are very physical interactions, body, and they all involve questions. It's like what it was kind of fun on Sunday with Dokusan, just asking you, what's the question? What's the koan? That's the leading the leading edge of your life. What's the question that's turning in you? So here Layman Pang brings it to great teachers. When Layman Pang Yung of Yangshao first met Shitao is the one who wrote Sandokai, so a great teacher of the time. He asked him, what kind of person is not a companion of the myriad dharmas? So what kind of a person, or I suppose he could be asking, what's a deluded person? A person who's not coursing in the Dharma. And what Shitao did is, instead of giving him an answer or an expose, he just put his hand over his mouth. He put his hand over Layman Pang's mouth. It's like, do that with yourself. Not to shut yourself up. It just brings your energy back in. It's right here. And Pang experienced sudden enlightenment. Later, Layman Pang visited Mao Zedong, who was another really famous teacher. So he really wanted to know. And he said to him, what kind of person is not a companion of the myriad dharmas? Carrying the same question. It's fun to carry the same question and keep asking it to different people, because everybody will turn it with you in a different way. And Mao Tzu said, when in a single gulp you have swallowed the entire West River, then I will tell you. Oh, I just did that. It's like a frog. Upon hearing these words, Layman Pang suddenly understood the profound principle. So actually, with both of them, he experienced a kind of awakening, just different. Maybe the question ripened in him and he was ready to receive a different response. So I'll just read you Mao Zedong's commentary. With a single gulp, he swallowed the West River, and then on a fine steed, he trampled old Pang to death. No need to burn money and summon his ghost. He is at peace, and so is his family and country. Just nothing special to do. It's just he helped him come home. That's all. He's at peace with his family and his country and the earth and the ground. And something happened in this meeting. John Master Bauchi. The spring colors have come to the deserted wilds. The spring breezes blow on the willow branches. The wooden man is able to strike the clappers. The stone maiden knows how to play the flute. These are all kind of tropes from the sutras. Their marvelous tones have neither tone nor rhyme. Their crystalline sounds move through the vastness. If the West River is not drunk to the last drop, then the ancient waves will turn rough and wild. Drink it all in, the whole world. Don't keep yourself separate. Swallow it all. Be here. One breath, one gulp. This is it. These are just my own little commentaries. You can make your own. Last one, Zuki. With a flick of the wrist, the arrow flies into the blue waters. Remember arrow points meet in Sandokan? With a flick of the wrist, the arrow flies into the blue waters. And the sleeping dragons leap up startled by this one sound. But don't go now and spend the night by the side of the pool, where they are exhaling ice flowers of bone-piercing gold. That's an interesting one. So something's happening. There's some energy unleashed. But don't go now and spend the night by the side of the pool where they are exhaling ice flowers of bone-piercing gold. Cold. To me, that means don't think you've got anything. Don't go sit by some pool that will just, because you think you have some understanding, it'll turn your bones in your life to ice. This is active and in motion. It's like live it, be it. You can't hold on to it. But I don't know. I just made that up. I don't know what you all might think. So let's take, we have about 10 minutes, yeah, maybe 10 minutes. to, what are you doing? What are these koans about? What do they, how do they land in you as not something distant and far away, but what is Layman Pang and Ling Shao? I'll just, no, I should send you off. I wanted to tell you one more koan. What's, how's it land? How's it land in you? What are you doing? What are they doing? What matters? Okay, let's do groups of two. Just turn to somebody next to you and I'll put you guys in groups of two.